Well, hello, DCL podcast fans. It's Steve. This is our second version of a Snippets show featuring our latest sailing a couple of weeks ago on the Disney Wonder out of San Diego. I was a little worried when I first put out the first show. We've done these snippets before in the past. It's been quite a while. But I was a little worried as far as the sound quality went and everything like that when I put out the first show. But we got a lot of feedback from people saying they really enjoyed it because it made them feel like they were actually on board the ship with us as we were kind of talking along. So we just kind of kept it this way for this one as well. So if you have any thoughts on that, we sure would love to hear about it and any feedback you might have. But I hope that you enjoy this show as we talk about kind of the random moments and events as we sailed along on the Disney Wonder. And it was fun to be able to sail with friends, Chad and his wife Lynn from Wisconsin as well. And we've got a little bit of a controversy smackdown from Alex as he comes back to talk about which version of the Edge he enjoyed more, on the Disney Dream or on the Disney Wonder. So Dream Class versus Magic Class ships. So I hope you enjoyed this episode as we set sail on the Disney Wonder out of San Diego. And now, as they say, on with the show. Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back, DCL podcast fans. We are back on board the Disney Wonder, and it's myself, Steve, and Wake is with me again. How you doing today, Wake?
Doing well.
Yeah, we were out of San Diego this time on the Disney Wonder. What's it like getting back on the Disney Wonder?
It's always nice to be on the Wonder. The check-in process I would describe as pack your patience.
Yeah, with two ships in port here.
There's a Holland America ship next door.
Yeah, and the Holland America is over. I don't think it would have made a difference which side of the port we're on. In all honesty, they were going to have to move us over. We'll do a deep dive on this later in the podcast and stuff like that and talk about it. But they need to kind of figure out the process of getting people on board as long as they're still having to do the COVID testing ahead of time, which is going to probably continue into the foreseeable future. But a little bit of a challenge getting everybody on board is kind of a mess. We've got 1,300, it sounds like, on this sailing.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, but let's talk. We'll talk about the Disney Wonder here in a little bit. We're going to do a bunch of these snippets on this cruise. It was fun to find out that Chad from the Patreon group, Chad and his family are on board. We knew that ahead of time, and we're going to be able to bring him on as well. We're going to be doing some chocolate and liqueur tasting tomorrow with them.
Looking forward to that.
Are you excited about that?
I am excited about that.
And you found that there was champagne tasting as soon as we got on board.
Like the champagne. I'm becoming a big fan of the champagne tasting.
Yeah.
And the drink of the day. Those are my favorite things.
Yeah.
And the spa. I like the spa.
The spa. So
anyway.
The good thing about being on a ship, coming back on board again pretty recently, we were on board the Wonder in February, is that several of the cast members that we got to know on board then are on board again now, and it was fun to connect with them.
It's kind of cool. Actually,
yeah.
So the bartender in the Signals bar, which is where we went to have our pre-cruise drink, said he was trying to put in our old cabin number for
and it wasn't coming up.
It wasn't coming up right. We're like, oh, well, I'm sure those people want to pay for our drinks.
Exactly. So we're up at the Signals bar. That's kind of the adult pool area and everything like that. One of our favorite places to hang out on the Wonder and the Magic when we're on board those two ships. Okay, let's talk about San Diego a little bit. It's the first time bringing our kids down here. They are out exploring the ship as we're sitting here talking about this, having our drink of the day. But yesterday we went to the Midway. What was your thoughts about the Midway?
I was very impressed. We kind of, I think, expected we'd be there for an hour or so. We were there for more like 4. It's really cool to just wander through the ship and see what it's like and read all of the info about what life was like when it was in service. Yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, like in context, I think the ship was built in the 50s, 60s, kind of like its heyday was the 70s, late 60s, 70s, kind of that era. It did sail in the first Persian Gulf War, and then it was decommissioned after that in the 90s, but it's a museum now right here on the harbor front of San Diego. And the cool thing about it is there are so many veterans and so many ex-service members who served on either the Midway or just in the Navy that are on board to answer your questions.
A lot of Navy presence here in San Diego.
Yeah, it's a big Navy town, and there was a lot of them on board to be able to answer all the questions that you had. So one of them that you had a question was, when you go by up on the upper deck, there's a bunch of aircraft, and they've got the names of pilots on board, and you ask, who are those people, right?
Right. I wondered why certain people's names were painted onto the side of the aircraft, and one of the
docents.
One of the docents said it was basically a donation for memorial, like families of men, or women, actually, yeah, who flew that particular aircraft would make a donation to keep the Midway Museum running, and then ask that their loved one's name be placed on the aircraft, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, so you get to wander all through the ship, see the different places where people slept, the different berthing areas. You get to see the galley where they eat, a little bit different than what we're going to experience on the Wonder
right.
here.
You get to see why it's better to be an officer than an enlisted member of the Navy, based on the amount of space that you have.
Yeah, so no shade on that whatsoever. But
you realize why my dad, after 40 years after he was in the Navy, still like rolled up all of his socks and made everything neat and tidy because he only had a teeny tiny amount of space on the ship.
Yeah, it was pretty small. So, and I'll give a huge shout out. We weren't planning on it, but we ended up having lunch on there, and I had some tacos. They were really good.
Really good.
Yeah, the food was really good. Different than what I was expecting on board.
Different.
Yeah. So anyway, we ended up spending way more time than we thought we were going to spend on the Midway. It was almost like 4 hours, and then right next to the Midway there, you can jump on a ferry that'll take you over to Coronado Island. Part of Coronado Island is where a couple cool things there. The tip of it is a naval base, and so you'll see Navy ships over there. But also it's where the Hotel del Coronado is, and so for all our Walt Disney World fans, the Grand Floridian is patterned after the Hotel del Coronado, which is a kind of one of those historic hotels in the U.S.
Yeah, on the historic registry.
Yeah, and Wake wanted to go over and check it out. I'd been over there before, so we went over there and rented bikes, and that was kind of cool. What did you think?
Rode our bikes all the way around the island. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the riding around and seeing all the houses, and the hotel was really cool, and it was cool to be out on the beach. Just see all that. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed all of that.
Yeah, so huge shout out. If you take the ferry over from kind of the waterfront downtown San Diego, if you're going to be here sailing on the Wonder anytime soon, it drops you off in kind of a tourist area. There's a bunch of restaurants and kind of like those touristy shops and everything like that. But there's a bike shop in there too, and it's like just to get the cruiser bikes, it was like $10 for an hour. So I think we had it for an hour 20 for bikes. I think it was just a little under $60 or so. So not too bad. But it was definitely well worth it for us.
Oh, totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, we parked the bikes, and then they give you locks, and we wandered around the Hotel Del for a little bit. They had these cool sand castles that somebody had built in the sand. Yeah. And then they had some live music that was just starting up. There's a little taco bar right on the beach, and you get a little move on there. I saw you
moving. It was fun.
Yeah. Get shaking a little bit and everything like that. So so that was kind of it. And then we came back and spent the evening in San Diego, then got up here.
Well, we had dinner on Coronado at the Coronado Brewing,
yeah,
which is also very good.
Yeah, Coronado Brewing. Yeah, huge shout out for that place. Good beer if you like beer.
Actually, you know what? You can do a flight, 4 beers flight tasting. I'm not even saying that the right way, am I? Anyway, you could choose any 4 beers or ciders off of their menu, and they would bring you like a 5-ounce sample of each. So that's what I did. I just picked things that sounded good and tried 4 different ones. It was great.
Yeah. So being back on the Wonder, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to experiencing when being back on the Wonder here? What are you looking forward to doing?
I was enjoying my spa. I always enjoy running on deck 4. I enjoy Tiana's.
We're going to do Palo, I think, one night.
Yeah.
Palo dinner.
Let's see, what else do we have going on?
I think that's about it that we have planned. Sometimes it's good not to have things planned.
Exactly. I just sort of enjoy just sit in the chair by the pool.
Yeah, I think that's probably like my favorite thing to do is like in the morning come down to Cove Cafe, get some coffee while you guys are still sleeping usually, read my book a little bit, and if we got Wi-Fi, maybe check up on the Wi-Fi stuff, like when we're in Ensenada and Cabo and whatnot. Right. But the afternoon, I think we kind of end up down here at Signals, which is kind of a great little place. And it looks like they're setting up, they've got a musician that's going to be playing here in the afternoon. I haven't seen that for a while, which is kind of cool.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, they usually have the guitarist, they'll come out and play some different songs. And
I will say the one thing that has changed since we were on in February and then are back now is that masks are no longer required anywhere other than in the theaters, which is kind of a different experience. So there are still some people wearing them, especially inside.
So they did have pretty much everybody wear masks in the line. Well, not necessarily in the line outside, but once you got on the bus, through the whole COVID testing process, through the check-in, and it wasn't until you got on board that people started to take their masks off. And from what Christy said, she just got off the Dream. She said it was about I may be making this up 50-50, but I know she still wore her mask. Right now, just watching people wander around, there's not too many people with masks on.
But we're sitting outside, so
We are.
that could be the difference.
Yeah. The crew members still have their masks on, except for a couple of the people working the pool.
Right.
Yeah, so one of
Like
our...
the guys that were at the bar, so like back behind the bar, they had theirs on, but the ones out wandering around, they had them on in cabanas, but the ones out wandering around don't seem to.
Yeah. So I think I want to touch on one more thing before we finish this one up, but I think the San Diego sail away is one of my favorite. Now, this is going to be, our third time sailing away from San Diego?
Yes.
And we got another one booked in October, so we got 4.
Yes.
And what's super funny is I was sitting there thinking about it, that this is our cruise to turn gold on the Wonder.
Yeah. We're weird.
I know.
We're Disney cruise weirdos.
Yeah, no, we love the Wonders. So, but anyways, I think the San Diego Sailway is pretty epic because no, you don't have the $1 million house. Well, that's not
Yes,
true.
we
There
do.
are $1 million houses. They're not quite as spectacular in some ways as some of the San Diego the Miami mansions that you go by. But there's always so much stuff going on between the military helicopters flying over, all the different sailboats in the harbor.
The ferry,
Ferry, you kind of go around all of Coronado Island, and then you leave past Point Loma. It's just a great sail away, and I'm looking forward to it this evening when we get to
I'm a
do
California
that.
kid, so it speaks to my heart.
Exactly. So if you haven't come out here and it's in your bucket list, we were going to have Chad on and talk about it too. His family, after they get done sailing here, they're going to jump on the coastliner and head right up to Disneyland and spend a couple days up at Disneyland. So it's kind of an easy way to do a Disney cruise and then also do Disneyland if you haven't been out on the West Coast at all. And San Diego might be one of my favorite sailaways just because the city itself.
It's easy. It's so easy. The airport's close. The port is close. There's hotels right across the street.
We walked down from our hotel.
You don't need a car. You don't need...
So many restaurants to choose from.
Yeah.
If you want to do seafood on the water, you can do that. We didn't go up to Little Italy, which we were planning on doing. We're going to do that.
Mexican food.
Yeah, Mexican food, Italian food up in Little Italy. So I know we're kind of like, I think we're sounding like we're part of the Chamber of Commerce trying to sell you on San Diego. But this is a great sailway. So if you haven't come out here on the Wonder and we got it to the West Coast, give it a try. If it's in your budget, if it's in your plans or whatnot. So come sail the Great White Whale with Wake and I, because we'll probably be on board. So, all right, we'll kind of finish that up today. We are going to adventure off to Triton's tonight. So looking for a little escargot. And what are you going to have?
I don't know. I looked, but I haven't decided.
We haven't decided yet either. So that will do it for this first day. We'll see you tomorrow on our sea day and check in and see what's going on then.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Well, welcome back to day 2. We are on a sea day here on the beautiful Disney Wonder, headed down to Cabo, and it is just a glorious afternoon, isn't it, Wade?
It's beautiful and sunny.
It
Head
is.
south.
It was a little rocky last night. I was worried about today that it might be kind of rocking and rolling along.
Actually, he was really worried that his wife might be throwing up.
Yeah, well, that is a true statement, but I was a little worried there might be a little rocking and rolling the whole day today.
Right.
But they slow the ship down during the day. It's very noticeable that they do that so that it's not quite so windy up here on the pool deck areas and everything like that, so you can really enjoy your time outside. So we actually went to the chocolate and liqueur tasting today. What did you think?
Loved it.
Why?
Well, I love chocolate.
That's
I love champagne and a red blend. And there was the port that was part of the tasting was also lovely, which I didn't really realize I liked port. It was actually, I mean, the tastings that we've been to have been, I mean, the people that run them they're so knowledgeable, and it kind of breaks down all the barriers that you think you might have about
different alcohols.
Right, and they give you information and kind of hold your hand and take you step by step, and you're like, wow, okay, I didn't know I liked that, but that's pretty cool. I do like that.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed is like, okay, so we've done the last 2 cruises, we've done the champagne tasting, and so all of a sudden we've been buying champagne, and mostly at Costco, to be completely honest. Although I've heard from a lot of different people that the Kirkland champagne is actually a pretty legit champagne to buy, and it's actually pretty reasonably priced. But it was amazing to have a Tottinger, and it was a rosé for the first thing that we tried today, and you could tell the difference.
100%.
Yeah, you can really tell the difference between the Kirkland champagne and some of the other champagnes that we've been buying from there. So, shade on us or whatever. No shade on us, whatever you want to
whichever way.
But, like, you can only buy the expensive stuff. You can't open that every night. Anyways, that's all my point. So, but it was really nice to go between. So we started off with champagne, and like you said, we went to red wine. It was a blend, then to a port, and then to a single malt scotch, which kind of finished it off. And it kind of paired it with different chocolates, and also the king of cheeses.
Yes, Parmesan Reggiano, the king of cheeses, he told us.
Yeah, who knew that? Parmesan Reggiano was the king of cheeses. But that was really good too. So you could get a little bit of a difference of the taste between the chocolates and also between the cheeses, and how kind of your palate changed with the different alcohols.
Mm-hmm. It was great.
And whatnot. So it was a lot of fun. We went with Chad and his wife Lynn. It was fun to connect with them on the cruise and kind of experience that with them.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so we are up on right above Signals Bar. So we have 1,300 people on the cruise this time. About a little less than half of what this, about half, I guess, of what this ship kind of normally holds. I think it's like the perfect amount, and I'm just totally being, how do I say this the right way without being obnoxious? It's just like if the world is your oyster, if a half full Disney ship, I think that's the perfect.
It really is.
It's the perfect amount of people.
I hope that it's financially feasible, but half is about perfect.
Yeah, it's at some point they're going to have to kind of fill up, and I know that the numbers are going to fill up here in the next couple cruises. Talking to our servers, and then they kind of drop off after spring break, at least for the Wonder, and then they pick up again in the summer. But as far as for those of you who are out cruising right now and experiencing it, it's still a really enjoyable time to go. And so here's the question I've got. This is the first cruise that we've been on since they've taken off the mask mandate, as far as you have to wear the masks in the Walt Disney Theater, but throughout the rest of the ship, I'm going to guess it's, on this cruise at least, it's probably about 10% of the people that are wearing masks. How has it affected you, Anna? What have you thought about it?
I think because of 2 years worth of doing it, whenever I leave our cabin, I feel like I'm forgetting something when I don't have one on. But it really is nice to be able to see people's faces and smile at people. And not that you can't with the mask on, and you could always, you could tell that people were smiling beforehand, and all of that. But it feels normal. It's kind of nice.
And like, do you feel uncomfortable about it?
No, not at all.
Okay, and I mean the good thing is like everybody's still vaccinated on board these ships.
Test.
Everybody took a test, and so I mean that kind of gives you a little bit of a comfort as far as spending 5 days with a group of people.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, I know that there's a lot of different opinions about vaccinations.
I guess I would say in rare instances, are we close enough for it to really matter to other people?
Right. And even we're in the late dining, and it was probably about half full, and there was nobody around us. Yeah. I mean, the dining room was about half full. They've got people still spread out quite a bit, quite a different, around you and everything like that. So it really wasn't too bad. And what was super fun is we've made friends with one of the servers up on the Signals Bar. He was on our cruise out of New Orleans. His name's Lloyd. If you get a chance to be on the Wonder anytime soon,
great guy. If you're up in Signals, super nice guy. But he had his mask down today as he was walking around, and I did not realize that he had a mustache. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at that.
I know. Who knew he had a mustache? And
look at what you look like.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's been kind of a non-issue for us. I know, do what's right for you. There's no shade whatsoever about people wearing masks. I haven't seen anything in that regards as far as anybody like making you feel bad because you're wearing masks. So if you still want to wear a mask, that is, highly encouraged. And
there's more. I would say there are more people inside and in the shops and wandering around with them on than there are outside.
Yeah, definitely. So last night we ate at, we kind of had a different, I was a little bit shocked. We ate at Triton's last night, and we had a completely different.
For us, it was a new menu.
Yeah, it was like some kind of sail away menu, and all of you out there that have had that menu before are probably going, well, that's what they always have, but I can tell you that.
I don't know that we've ever been to Triton's on the first. Well, we have, though.
We have been. We were
but
at
it's been
Triton's.
A long time.
Well, we were at Triton's in the fall. We went to Triton's, and we were able to get the escargot, and last night there was no escargot.
No escargot.
Yeah, it was just a calamari, the calamari. At least there's like some kind of
fish, sort of. Well, it's not really fish because we're talking about snails and squid, but something that's kind of
It's not
similar
real
to
fish.
escargot. I guess as that goes. So,
And Andrew, our oldest son, kept saying, "I'm going to stick with the land animals."
yeah, he's sticking with the land animals, which is probably a smart thing. But his dad is out there doing the calamari
In the
and
weird
everything else.
stuff.
So it's been a great cruise so far. We have not seen our youngest. Alex will be on at some point. He's going to talk about the Edge, kind of his opinions about the difference between.
He's met some cool kids.
He's met some cool kids.
His kindergarten, second grade reading buddy and his family are on board.
It's a small world. We're sitting in Triton's, and he's like looking over, and he goes,
"Hey, there's my reading buddy."
So the travel world sometimes is a small world, and like where we live, our little community likes to travel. So
Yes.
it's always kind of fun to see who you're going to run into, whether it's Hawaii or a Disney cruise headed down to Cabo.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Exactly. So I guess before we finish out today, we are going to head up to Animators Palette tonight. Always excited to see that show. And then Anawake and I are going to head to Palo tomorrow night. So we'll kind of give you our thoughts about Palo, back on board the Wonder and everything else. And I don't think it's going to be anything different. It's going to be a good experience and all that. But what do you have planned tomorrow in Cabo?
Andrew and I are doing a scuba dive tomorrow.
2-tank dive, and where are you guys diving at?
It sounds like near Lovers Beach, and then near the two places, near Lovers Beach and near the Arch. So we're super excited about that. Hoping for some good pictures above and below the water.
Yeah, so
We actually brought the GoPro. It is actually charged. We have all the cords. It's a miracle.
yeah, I am hopeful. Andrew's got some amazing pictures of you doing a flip when you got checked out.
I know,
right?
yeah. So this is my actual first dive as a true certified diver.
So I'm excited to see what kind of pictures you get. And because Alex is 11, you need to be 12 to dive. Alex and I are going on what he has been excited to do for a long time, and I don't even remember where it came up, but some kind of upside down ziplining adventure through some kind of canyon, which is going to kill me because I'm scared of heights, and like everything that I read about this stupid adventure is like you're going to be up high and then you're going to like zip down low or something like
I know
that.
you ziplined at Bachelor, though. You're going to be fine.
No, I don't. The zip
You're
line,
going to be fine. I'm not going to throw up. It's going to be a good day.
Exactly. No, the zip line doesn't bother me at all. It's the rappelling off of some kind of cliff or something like that they're talking about doing as well. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it's going to be a good time. So we will report back on that. But for those of you thinking about, I know I keep talking about the Wonder on the West Coast.
We love it.
We do. We love the fact that we have a Disney ship on the West Coast. So go ahead.
Really, we love the magic. I love the dunk.
Well, I know that is the one.
That's a whole different ball. Yeah.
That is the one thing missing with the Wonder. We love her as a ship. We love the adult spaces on the classic ships versus, well, I'm not even going to say versus the dream class ships because there's some great spaces there, but we really enjoy the pool area up here by the Signals Bar on the classic ships and everything like that. But the one thing missing from the Wonder is if they had like some kind of like cool slide.
Wish they had a good water slide.
Yeah, I wish they had a good water slide that the kids could go down, and we could go down there with them.
And us, yeah.
So,
and enough about the kids for us.
yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, I hope you're enjoying this little snippet of our cruise as we head down towards Cabo. I was super excited to see the pictures that Chris Bright and Seth, when they were down here last fall, took of Cabo. We can't wait to see it. I've actually been to Cabo San Lucas about 1 million times, but actually never been to Cabo because the airport is in San Jose. And so our crew hotel's in San Jose, so I've actually never been to Cabo. So
And I have not been to Cabo San Lucas since I was pregnant with our soon-to-be 16-year-old.
yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, do the math on that. I don't know. We did the math wrong today. Chad and Anawake and I and the kids went to trivia, and they asked when Walt Disney World started. So I was like 50 years from today because it's the 50th anniversary, 1972, right? Wrong, 1971. So there we go.
No, it was the other way around. You said 71 and it was 72.
No, it was 70. I said 72 because 50 years from now is 72, and it was 71.
Oh.
Yeah, which like surprised us. So all of you out there that know the real answer, 1971. As you can tell, we were not winners,
We're not winners.
but we did get 17.
We
so
were close.
I think we did.
But
We
not-
had a
yeah.
pretty good show.
We were in the top half.
Exactly. So all right, we will report back after day 3 of our scuba diving and upside down
ziplining adventure.
Thanks for coming back and taking a listen, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're down here in Crown and Fin. Welcome back, and it's fun to cruise with some different friends, although we've actually never met in person. I'd like to welcome to the show Chad and Lynn. How you guys doing?
Really good.
Great, thanks.
First time on the Wonder, finally making it back out here. What's your guys' thoughts of the Wonder as a ship?
So we were actually, I was having this conversation earlier, and I think my canned answer for what's my favorite ship has always been Fantasy. Truth is, I think they're kind of all the same for me. Like I think I like them all equally. They're, you know, the crew is always great. The theming's always great. The service is always great. It's for me they're all really equal.
Right. So, but just, little nuances. They don't have the aqueduct and the duck and stuff like that for the kids and for the adults and stuff like that. But in some different themed restaurants, Tiana's. You guys have been to Tiana's?
No, so that's actually coming up for us tomorrow night. So I'm really excited about that. The menu on there looks awesome. And so that's the one I'm probably looking for most forward to at this point. Just because we haven't had a chance to try that yet.
Yeah, it's by far my favorite show, I guess, between the two. And I'll honestly say that just because I like New Orleans jazz. How about you, Lynn? Do you like New Orleans jazz?
I do, and I do like that movie.
Yeah, I think it's like the most underrated as far as I think it's got the best music.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best movies, actually, if you really want to talk about it.
I do like that movie.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think about Cabo yesterday? First time being in Cabo.
It was delightful. We had good weather. We went to the beach. We had... I wasn't expecting all the nice beach, and we got to see the whales, so that was exciting. Good pictures.
Yeah, we just get to see your pictures, everything like that. They had their flukes out there, just like slapping the water and everything like that.
It was kind of unexpected because when I booked that tour, really, so this is actually a remake of a cruise we were supposed to do 2 years ago. We were supposed to be on the Wonder in 2020, and our cruise was yanked from about 12 days before our cruise when everything shut down. So I'd booked this, and some of the feedback that I read online was, hey, in March it's sort of hit or miss on whether you're going to see the whales or not, and we got really lucky because there was another tour that left a little bit later, and they didn't get a chance to see them. So we got super lucky to see those, and just before we kind of turned in to come back in, they were really, really close too. So we got some really great pictures and video to capture the moment. So it's really cool.
Yeah, so you guys did the boat tour around Land's End, and then you guys went over to the beach and everything like that. What did you guys do on the beach?
It was so that was they had a beach club that they had set up. Like there was service with lunch, and then it came with a couple of drinks and stuff like that. It was about 2.5 hours. So we sort of sat around and had beach chairs and umbrellas and stuff like that. I'll say it was the sand was really, really hot. It was literally like radiating heat. The closer you got to the water, it was a lot nicer. But the experience was really nice. The beach club was great.
Service was great.
The food was just okay. So we did it was the Land's End cruise with beach break or something like that. So that was probably the downfall of it to me was the food. It wasn't that great. I had fish tacos. I've had honestly better fish tacos in Wisconsin. So, if I'm being honest about it, my daughter didn't care for her burger.
I had a quesadilla.
You had a quesadilla, which is tough to screw up. Cheese and tortillas. But otherwise, I still 9 out of 10. I think is what I rated it on the tour thing. They were really great about stuff. So,
what's the adjective we learned?
Oh yeah. So the Disney Cruise Line had sent us a text through the app that basically said, hey, just so you're aware, there are bumptious street vendors that may be coming up to you. We have no control. So I learned vocabulary thanks to Disney Cruise Line because I didn't know what bumptious was.
Bumptious, huh?
Yeah.
Who knew?
And so what happens is they have a roped off area that the cruise guests and stuff are in, that the vendors that are trying to sell whatever, whether it's wrestling masks or which I almost bought, or bracelets, or
an iguana with the sombrero.
Get your picture with iguana, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So all of that was they're just outside the ropes. So if you want that stuff, it's there for you. But they won't necessarily come up on your chairs to start putting their stuff in your face. They got to stay beyond the rope.
But they were bumptious.
But if you but to get to the water, you've got to go beyond those ropes.
Yeah.
So but I went out there a couple times to kind of go put my feet in the water, and they didn't come up to me at that point. So it seemed like they were really focusing on people inside the ropes to kind of come buy their stuff.
We didn't really have too many, although when we came back, we saw the iguana lady. She was like, she was bent on getting us to get her picture taken with the iguana. So, anyways, if you want to do
We
it,
had a mariachi band come by.
there you go. Yeah. So, thumbs up as far as like a fun port adventure for you guys, what you guys did and everything like that.
Yeah, I really liked it. I would, and as much as I said the food wasn't great, I would still do it again.
Yeah.
It was really, it was relaxing, and for us, this is the first cruise that we've not had a stop at Castaway, so we wanted sort of a beach day to kind of do stuff. We're actually doing the kayak stuff with you guys and Ensenada and stuff tomorrow, so this is really our chance to kind of do a beach day. So it fit the bill for that.
Perfect. And I got my fingers crossed because last time we did this kayak tour, our tour guide was like, "We're gonna stop and you're gonna have the best tacos afterwards if we have time." And we're like, all like, yeah, whatever, sure.
Yeah.
And when they, thank you so much.
I make 2 different receipts for different bars.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Frank. And we're like both like kind of rolling our eyes, yeah, whatever. And there's
We've been
shark.
talking about him since then.
We've been talking about it since then. So like,
good.
One, I hope we stop there, and two, I hope they're as good as what I remember because they were amazing. And they have shark, and there's a reason why they serve shark because it's like. It has something to do with like the way the fish maintains the flavor or something like that, and so hopefully we're going to be able to stop at this place tomorrow. So it's
if there are shark tacos, I'm in. I gotta have it.
They're literally it's the places we're going to drive by it when we drive down to the kayak place, unless they move to someplace else. But they can't because it's the Bufadora, which is we're going to go see, which is down there anyway. So all right. A couple more quick questions for you. You guys went and did Palo brunch today. Thoughts on Palo brunch?
Yeah, so first time.
Fan favorites?
Yeah, it was our first time doing Palo brunch. This is our 6th cruise, and actually it's only the 2nd time going to Palo. We did Palo dinner on our first cruise, and then haven't been back since. Not because we didn't like it, but because we like other things too. So for us, main dining, we enjoy the theming of main dining and being there with our family and stuff like that. So we've not really taken the time to sort of break away and do the Apollo stuff, which is partly what motivated me to do brunch too. I also feel like it's like something I kind of have to do at this point.
Right.
So we went and did it today. I'll say that my thoughts on it, and I'd love to hear your stuff too, Lynn. For me, I would do it on cruises that are 5 days or more, just because of the time that it takes away from for me, the hours on Disney Cruise Line are somewhat precious, right? You only have so many of them in a year and stuff like that. That number one, all right, it's 2 hours of a meal. We honestly felt like we needed a nap afterwards because we had so much food. So that's a third hour that it takes up, and it's also in the middle of the day, right?
Yeah.
So we've got 2 sea days on here. I love sea days, and the reality is it chews up a key portion of that day where you're sort of sitting around waiting for the Palo brunch to happen, and then it's like, all right, kind of afterwards, now it's all of a sudden middle to late afternoon, and you've basically chewed up kind of a lot of your day. So that said, the food is amazing. I started with like the seafood antipasta, had a really great celery and sausage soup. I tried the eggs Benedict because it's something that she loves so much, and I've never had it before, so I thought I'd try it. I figured if it's going to be good anywhere, it's going to be good at Palo. And then finished with what everyone seems to have is the chicken parm, which lived up to the billing. It's fantastic. But for me, it's more about the time. It's obviously by the time you factor in gratuity and things like that, it gets to be an expensive lunch too. Mm-hmm. But it's more for me about the time that it sort of chews up. I don't know what you thought.
I enjoyed it. The food was awesome. It was very relaxing. It was a good day to do it because it was cool out this day, and our kids are able to go spend time with grandparents, and it was just so much food that I needed a nap.
And it was also nice just for us to have 2 hours together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In a vacation where we're kind of multi-generational here, and we've got our kids are with us in our room, and then my parents and stuff like that. It was nice just to have a nice meal.
It was a good day to do it
for the two of us.
Yeah, that's kind of what we felt about Palo dinner last night. We went there. It was just like it was good for our kids to be able to just go hang out with it by themselves and do their own thing without us around and everything like that. And we got a couple hours and a nice setting and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it was a nice dinner. All right, I lied. I got two questions. Coffee and beignets in the morning. You talked about that. You thought that should be on every ship?
I do. I think that French Quarter Lounge is awesome. And I didn't expect to feel that way because I think the Promenade Lounge. Is it? Did they switch it over to now Snuggly Duckling?
No, that
Magic, or is that going to happen? I can't.
Well,
remember.
that's the.
Or is it the rumor?
That's the
running
bar.
rumor.
That's O'Gill's.
Oh, yeah.
That's O'Gill's. So I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, the Promenade Lounge.
Between, like, before Rapunzel's on
I don't think that's anything official. I think that was just a rumor.
Maybe it's a rumor.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's an underused location. I think putting it as the French Quarter Lounge, I think gives it better theming than what it has on Magic.
Oh yeah.
With the Promenade, so it gives me a reason to go there.
Right.
In a way that I wouldn't have on Magic because of the beignets and stuff like that. So I found that to be really good. I mean, the coffee service has been great. The beignets have been good. I hear they're better at Tiana's, so I'm excited to see that difference.
We will experiment and
so
find out.
I will absolutely take that challenge to find out whether the beignets are better at Tiana's. But yeah, I love it. So we've made it a point both of our C days to stop down there in the morning for coffee and beignets.
Okay, so our oldest son Andrew's here. He had the beignets last night in Tiana's after they already had dessert at at Animators. What did you think of the beignets?
I mean, they were good. They were donuts. I mean, essentially. Donuts
with chocolate sauce.
Well, there we go. We'll talk to you guys before you get off the ship after Tiana's and try and get an update on those beignets. Okay, so the last question I got for you is West Coast versus East Coast. What have you guys thought about coming out here and sailing out of San Diego overall and heading down to Cabo, something completely different than the Caribbean, kind of limited destinations on the West Coast, but something different?
Yeah. You want to start?
I love the change because we've done that a bunch over in the East, so this was new for us. I know Evan said that the hotel we stayed in was his favorite hotel ever.
Oh, wow. That's huge, right?
Because we had a view of the ship's docking and everything, and we woke him up at 6 a.m. and he was like able to watch that come in, so that was exciting. I like it. I think it's more deserty over here, so not as humid.
Yeah, I think for me, the word that I would call it is convenient. Everything is really convenient for us to now. So we live in Wisconsin, so getting to Florida, it's sort of 2.5 hour flight or 3 hour flight to get down there, or 3 to 4 or 5 hour flight to get here. So for me, that's not a tremendous difference. It's sort of a wash there. The nice part about sailing out of San Diego is just the ability to sort of stay right across the street from the port. Like we took a quick Uber from the airport over to the hotel. We were able to, walking distance to get to a great dinner on the night before the cruise and stuff like that. So we were able to kind of do that together. This sort of everything is really convenient to there. And then you just walk across the street to get on the ship was amazing, right? And then when we get back, we're actually going to go and hop across the street, get on the Amtrak, and that's going to take us up to Anaheim. We're going to go to Disneyland for the first time. So everything is super convenient and easy here. And I'll say for me, it's less about the ports when I cruise and more about kind of just the ship and the overall ambiance of being on board and stuff like that. And to me, I get all of that with the West Coast itineraries in the same way that I do on the East Coast itineraries.
Any other different thoughts about that one as far as the West Coast? I know you talked about it already, but any other thoughts?
I like the convenience. I like that it's all right there. I'm excited about the train ride.
Yeah.
So we've got planes, trains, automobiles.
Automobiles, yeah. And then credit coasters.
The obvious thing that misses for me is missing Castaway.
Yeah.
So I'd love to have a private destination that Disney could have over here. Whether that's really feasible with only one ship on the West Coast, probably not going to happen. But still, that's probably the one thing that it misses.
Yeah, I wish they would have a little bit more 7 days with this too. I mean, I know they probably make more money on the 3 and the 5 days with the way they do it, but I wish they had a couple more 7 days where you could stop at Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta just for some different stops along the way, so that
more Mexico.
Yeah, it's a little bit more touches of Mexico. We get down to Puerto Vallarta, it's a little bit more tropical, so you kind of get that desert, and then you get the tropical down in Puerto Vallarta. So
well, it seems like they're starting to mix in Catalina Island now too. So maybe they could have some that sort of maybe go a little northern in the summer or something like that. Maybe some that go southern.
Yeah.
So who knows how they may. If Wonder's indeed going to stay out here, how they're going to wind up mixing that up a little bit.
Yeah, and they'll probably put the Wish out here pretty soon too, because they're going to want to get the Wonder back to the East Coast. And
yeah, sure, I could totally see that. I'd put money on that.
Yeah. All right, don't go with me to Vegas. All right. So, anyways, well, thanks you guys for doing this, and we should just enjoy your dinner tonight at Animators Palette and Tiana's place coming up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, excited about that.
Yeah, so, and it's been fun getting to actually meet you guys in person and everything
like
that.
A lot of fun cruising with you guys.
Yeah, so we will hopefully talk to you guys before you get off the ship and put another one of these quick ones together. So thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See ya.
Cheers.
All right, we are on day 5 of our cruise, and just
left Ensenada, heading up to San Diego. Always sad to be on the last day of the cruise. And I got with me today Alex. How you doing today, Alex?
Pretty good.
What has been your thought about this cruise overall? First time, well, what's sort of cool, and we're sitting on our balcony right now as we're heading northbound, getting ready to go down to dinner at Triton's place, which has got escargot, which you're excited about.
Not really.
Not really. I know. I'm excited about it, but I wanted to throw this out there. This is the first time you guys have been back on the Wonder since 2015 when we went to Alaska. What's it been like?
It's pretty cool. I don't remember anything from the last cruise because I was 5, but
that was 7 years ago. Pretty crazy, huh? Now you're 11, going on 12. Your birthday's in a couple weeks, and you've been hanging out at the edge. I thought we'd talk about that a little bit in just a second, but overall, what's your thoughts about the Disney Wonder?
It's pretty cool. Compared to the last ship we were on, it feels pretty small.
Because we're on the Dream at November. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, it's a pretty fun ship. I like it.
Yeah, so, I mean, being smaller, it's easier to get up to the ice cream stand.
Yeah, that is true.
So, that small has its advantages as far as that goes. So, the other question I got is, what is your thought about going to Mexico? It's the first time you've been to Mexico.
It's pretty cool. I really like it so far.
So, go ahead.
I feel like the people here are they're pretty cool. Most of the tour guides we've had are pretty funny.
Yeah, the tour guides. So the first day we were in Cabo, or our first port stop was Cabo. We did the zip lining adventure.
Upside down.
Yeah.
Zip lining.
I think it's called the Canyon Adventure Tour, and it was, I'm going to be completely honest, it's a kind of a miserable ride. It's 70 minutes over to this canyon there and back. It was worse for me going for some reason because you never know like how long it's going to take, and it seemed to take forever. But the actual zip lining and the people that ran the tour I thought were absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what did we get to do on that?
Well, so we went on a couple of just normal zip lines, and then for 2 of them there was the option of an upside down zip line. So basically what they would do is they'd hook you up to the zip line, and then you would kind of like roll onto your back, and you would take your legs and kind of wrap them around like the line that connects you to the zip line, and you'd be going upside down. And on the last upside down one of the tour guides spun me around. Yeah. So I was upside down going across this massive canyon while I'm like upside down.
Yeah, I can't, you know what, in all honesty, I can't speak highly enough of the guides. Johnny was their main guide up there in the front, and Art, and they were super cool as far as like making it fun for the kids and for the adults, and like also being super safe about running the zip lines. And they were doing it quick because like in Tortola, I think we did like 5 or 6 zip lines. I think on this one we did like 8 or 9, and we also got to rock climb and do a couple other things too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they offered $100 if you could knock somebody off the bridge. Yeah.
Oh wait, they did?
Yeah, but that was after you already left. So yeah, because you volunteered to go first. There was kind of like a rope bridge that you went across, and they were offering everybody $100, and you're tied into the rope bridge, so there's no way you're going to fall into the river below you. But
yeah,
all in fun. It was super cool. So, and then today we were in Ensenada. We did the kayaking tour that your mom and I did. What was your thoughts about doing the kayaking tour?
It was actually pretty cool. It was also, the nice thing is that it was really calm out today, and the sun was shining, so it was it's not like we were like freezing cold and this super up and down pouring down rain river. Right. It was really nice.
So it was about an hour and 26 minute kayak. I timed it with my watch, and Chad and his family went with us on this too as well. He took it with his Garmin. He took kind of a map of where we went, so I'll make sure I put that up on Facebook. It was kind of cool. But we went around these rocks. It wasn't as windy today as when your mom and I went. It was a little bit much sporty going around those rocks, but this time it was still pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they kind of give you a challenge to go around these rocks, and when it's a little bit sportier out, the waves are moving. It's almost like a roller coaster going around the backside. And then we went to the La Bufadora. Can you tell everybody what a La Bufadora is?
So the La Bufadora, or however I can't pronounce it.
You just said it, La Bufadora.
Yeah. I said like La Blue Fedora.
Okay.
So basically what it is it's this blowhole. And so kind of what that is it's this underwater cave that is like at a perfect spot where it is partially underwater but also partially in the air. And they said it was like 23 feet tall and about 40 feet long, and it curved to the right. And so basically what happens with it is there's about when the water in the sea is a little bit lower, there's a little opening to this cave. And so basically what would happen is when a big wave comes in and covers up the entrance to that cave, what happens is when all the water rushes into the cave, it builds up pressure in the water, when the water pressure builds up, it just shoots all the water up. It's really cool. It's kind of like a geyser, but not like, it doesn't have to do with like the magma and stuff underwater.
Right. So it's just the waves filling up the cave, and when there's like enough water in it that it can't hold the water anymore, the pressure relief valve is that hole that shoots out and across, and it was kind of cool to see that. So one of the other things that you've been able to do on this is you've been going to the edge. So talk a little bit about the difference between the edge on the Wonder versus the Dream, where it's a little bit bigger.
Well, the funny thing about it being bigger on the Dream is, so it's smaller on the Wonder because it's a smaller ship, so they don't have as much space. But they actually had more things to do in there. So they on the
Dream.
The edge on the Dream, there was one Wii and 2 Xboxes, and there was one Wii, 2 Xboxes, and then like there was like this open area for crafts, and there was and then a ping pong table and a foosball table. And here there was 2 Wii's and 2 Xboxes, and they also had a craft area and an area with speed stack cups, and they also had a big game of chess, and they had a smaller game of Connect 4.
So which one do you like better?
Personally, I prefer this one.
Really?
Because there's just more things to do, and the spots to sit are more comfortable.
I like that. Look at that. The Wonder coming through with the win. I thought you were going to say that the Dream was going to be a little bit better just because it's bigger up there. So it's
they also had more games.
Well, it's a good thing that the Wonder's on the West Coast because we're a West Coast family. So
yeah,
we'll be selling on the Wonder quite a bit more. So what are some of the other fun things that you've been able to do on the Edge? So they kick you out what?
They kick us out at midnight.
Kick you out at midnight.
Which is around when my curfew is.
Yeah, so we've got the late night dinner. Usually about 9:30. You're taking off, heading up to the Edge. Spend some time up there. What are some of the fun things you've done up there?
So the entire cruise, there's been 2 different team games that's been going on. The first one is called Heroes vs. Villains, and basically what that is so on the first day at the open house, they'll take all the kids that are 11 to 14 and they'll make them spin this wheel, and so there's the option of hero, villain, or there's a mystery spot where you can choose which side you want to be on.
Oh.
And throughout the cruise, each day there will be a different activity. Like the first 2 days, it was Disney trivia. The third day, it was music trivia, not specifically Disney, just music in general. And then yesterday there was a karaoke competition for that.
Did you sing?
No.
No. And then what's the other game that's going on besides?
The other game is called Brains vs. Bronze, and what that is it's kind of like a big cruise long game of not hide and seek. Oh, it's a big cruise long scavenger hunt kind of.
Oh, okay. Have you been doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing both.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
this is the first time hearing about this.
Exclusive for the DCL podcast.
Exclusive,
listeners.
Exactly.
And so, on the first day, yes. So far for that, what they've been doing is they'll give you this one sheet of paper. There'll be a crossword puzzle or something, and you have to solve that and make a word. And they'll say counselor in Buena Vista Theater, and you'll have to go down to the Buena Vista Theater, and that counselor will give you a quick challenge. It's what movie is playing on Tuesday, and then you'll go look at that and come back and say the movie playing on Thursday is Turning Red, or something like that. And then they'll give you another sheet of paper with a puzzle, and and then that one would be kind of kind of like a nonsense word that you can form into a normal sentence. Like one of them was like air, like air, and then real, and then statue, and then you. So it's aerial statue.
Yeah. So you had to go down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would go down to the aerial statue, and there'd be another counselor there, and etc. It would go on like that.
So super cool. They're like interactive things besides just doing video games.
Yeah.
I love that, and I love that's probably like one of my favorite things that they do for Disney Cruise. And how, but not only that, with the interactive stuff, you've also been playing some video games too. You've been playing some Battlefront.
Oh yeah, they had Battlefront 2 on the ship.
Yeah.
And the cool thing with that is, so they had a dual one, which is like a 1v1, where you can, but a lot of you guys have played Battlefront, but, so yeah, obviously they only had the offline versions, so you could basically just play against another person on there. And then another game that I've been playing a lot is Wii Sports.
Yeah, which is super fun, right?
Yeah.
I wish we still had that.
Yeah, we should get a new Wii sometime.
I know. That's
And
Wii Sports is actually
coming up.
birthday's coming up. Maybe that could be something that comes for your birthday. All right, just two more quick things before we get out of here. So overall, fun time at the Edge.
Yes.
Fun time on the Wonder.
Yeah.
And we are going to hopefully head up, and we'll see if it works out. We're going to hopefully play How Well Do You Know Your Family?
Oh.
Yeah, so you and your mom might be working out on that. We'll see how that works out, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if you get picked and everything like that. Maybe we won't get picked. Who knows? But overall, fun cruise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any final thoughts about sailing in the Disney Wonder? Any advice for kids going to the Edge?
Personally, if we're gonna go to the Edge, just kind of the same advice I had for the last Edge review, I guess. Is just most of the people there are pretty chill and don't be afraid to talk to people and make new friends.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun up there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, as we get out of here, we will be back with one more snippet as we get off the cruise tomorrow. But thanks for coming on again, Alex. Appreciate it. And let's see how well you know your family tonight when you and your mom hopefully get up there.
Okay.
All right. Cheers, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Well, as all cruises do, they come to an end, and we're going to do our final snippet here before we get off the Disney Wonder. We're standing at deck 4. It's a long line of people going through customs, and we're just going to wait some time today because we are not in a rush to get off at all.
Nope.
we probably, I think we all kind of would like to have gone home today now that we think about it, but we're going to spend another day down here in San Diego. Maybe go to the zoo. I'm not sure. Maybe go to a sneaker store for Alex, or a sneaker consumed kid as it is. But yeah, but it's a beautiful day here in San Diego, and so nothing to complain about. We'll be back home again tomorrow. But as the kind of cruise comes to an end, Anawik, give us your thoughts. I want to touch quick on the kayaking, but give us your thoughts overall of the cruise.
I really enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoy these cruises out of San Diego. It's, as Chad and Lynn said, it's just so easy. I mean, the airport is right here. The hotels are right here. It's all really, it can be completely walkable if you wanted it to be. San Diego's just a great town. Totally enjoyed Cabo. I haven't been to Cabo in 17 years. So it was good to go back there, and we love Ensenada.
Yeah, Ensenada, I think
like a hidden gem.
I think it's a hidden gem for us. I'm not sure if it would be for everybody, but we love it. It's an easy port to get into and out of for the ship. There was another ship there's a princess ship in town and stuff, but it didn't really add to the crowds or anything like that. We haven't really been
and I wonder if that's, sorry to interrupt you, but I wonder if that's because of the Disney requirement currently to be in a bubble, and so any of the tours we went on were just, the port adventures we had were just Disney people, so that maybe cuts down the crowd a little bit, and we didn't wander around in town, so there's that too.
Definitely, but it's just, I don't know, it's kind of I like the background of it with the mountains and everything like that.
I do too, it's beautiful.
And there's like hundreds of seals that as you're pulling in, they're just barking at you.
That's my favorite part of the whole. I love the sea lions.
The sea lions.
Which we learned on our kayaking trip that in Spanish is not sea lion, it is lobo marino, which is sea wolf, which I kind of got a kick out of too. Yeah,
and you can probably hear an airplane in the background. That's how close the airport is to where the Wonder's parked right now. And let's talk really quick about the kayaking trip. We did the kayaking trip. You and I did it by yourselves in 2018.
when we first went to Ensenada on the Wonder, and we did it this time. We brought it with our kids, and I was a little worried because Chad and his family came too, that maybe I oversold it. But I think everybody had a really good time.
It was great. And so yesterday when we did it, the sea was calmer, and I don't know if that's time of the year or just luck or what, but the first time that we did it, it was actually a pretty sporty open ocean kayak, and I think for someone who didn't know it's possible to do it if you have never been in a kayak before, but I think that parts of it would have been sort of daunting if you weren't super comfortable in the kayak. But yesterday I didn't feel that way. Yesterday was more calmer, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I guess I would just say it's definitely an active adventure. It's an hour and a half paddle. And the first time we did it, I think half the people weren't as comfortable going as far as we did. So there's three of us that went a little further. They took us around these rocks. It was kind of like a little roller coaster action with the waves cool. And everything like that as you went around the rocks, which is super fun. And the other group just went straight to the La Bufador, which is a blowhole, which is this kind of spout that as a cave fills up, it pressure releases and shoots out of this hole.
Right.
As the wave actually kind of builds up and fills up the cave. And the kayaks, you get up really close to it. They do a really good job of bringing you right up close, and they're holding the kayaks kind of in place for you. You're all kind of holding it together, and so you can get some great pictures, and I'll make sure I put them up on Facebook again. So, matter of fact, I think I did. So if you've seen our earlier post, but I'll put it up again when this show comes out. So, but yeah, just a great time in Ensenada overall.
Super easy, low-key, relaxed.
And it's a slow sail back because it's only an hour and a half.
Drive from Ensenada to San Diego. So it's it's fun. So we are sort of geeky in that what's usually on the TV in our stateroom is the map that shows where we're going and where all the other Disney ships are, and the map of the world, and it like zooms out and zooms in, and we love that, all of us, which is super geeky. But it's funny to see the path that the ship takes on the Ensenada to San Diego trek because it's been different every time, but like you either just go out and you go around in a circle, or you go out and you make a big box. So it's kind of funny.
I think they almost should do, just for the fun of it, I think it was a celebrity during the pandemic. They were doing some like they were cruising and writing out some words, I think. Like be safe or something like that. It was either Kennard or
somebody like that.
Or celebrity had done that. I think they should do something like that. Just
Disney should do a hidden Mickey out there.
Yeah, do a hidden Mickey in the way they sail. I think that'd be kind of cool. If we ever get to run into the captain, maybe like this.
Tell him that we need.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll listen to me. Probably not.
Maybe not.
So, anyways, but I guess any final tips? I guess sailing out of San Diego on the Wonder.
No, just that it's super easy. I think that it's definitely worth the trek westward for anybody who hasn't. I 5 nights was great. It was great to get to the 2 ports. It seems like Disney has a few periodically of like the true Mexican Riviera with Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta. I guess if this wasn't your sort of home coast, I would probably make the trek for that, even though that skips Ensenada, which we've come to love, just to get a little bit more of a taste of Mexico and a longer trip.
Yeah, definitely. So look for those in the itineraries. I know they have at least 1 or 2 since she's going to be out here a little bit longer. I don't know if she's going to stay out here permanently, but she's definitely staying through 2023, and it's cool to say that out here on the West Coast, we not only do we have a home park of Disneyland, but now we have a home ship, the Disney Wonder. And as we were kind of thinking about it, we turned gold on the Disney Wonder.
We did.
And just Disney Wonder sailings on this one, and we got 2 more books, so we do love the Wonder, don't we?
Do. Yep.
Yeah, the Great White Whale of the Disney Cruise Line fleet that a lot of you guys have not been able to sail on before. She's a little bit older, and whatnot, but I think that's what there's a little bit of that makes little charm that makes us love it. So as we get out of here, I hope you've enjoyed these kind of looks as we sailed along on this 5-day cruise on the Disney Wonder out of San Diego. Thanks to everybody for coming back and taking a listen, and we'll see you real soon on the DCL podcast. Goodbye. Bye, everybody.
The DCL podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.